Let me mute myself.
Glancing over my records of the late last century, I am faced by the events of a certain bitter winter. A murder in a carriage as it sped through dense London fog in the dead of night. Though the victim and the perpetrator were the only ones inside, there were multiple witnesses to the crime itself. However, none could have imagined at the time that such a seemingly obvious case as this would end in such a horrendous manner. My friend, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, once said of the incident,
I believe that perhaps that case was indeed
the prelude. The beginning of a long concerto that impressive Japanese student and I were to play together.
Ooh. Animation.
Amazing. Is this really just a railway station?
Railway station or not, I've never seen such an enormous building before.
I need to turn up my own volume, actually.
Locomotives. This country is incredible.
I feel like I'm dreaming.
So this is the capital of Great Britain.
So, where to?
Oh, hello.
Climb aboard. I'll take you wherever you want to go.
In that case, the Supreme Court in Whitehall, if you wouldn't mind.
My pleasure. I suppose you're visiting students from abroad, eh?
Yes.
Thought so. Well then, I hope you enjoy your stay. And welcome to the centre of the world, Great Britain's mighty capital, London.
Oh, this is cool. 18th February, 9:21 a.m. British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. Let me check the options so that if next time... Oh, oops. Let me check the options right after this. So I can make sure that the voices... Oh, I can't turn them higher? Okay. Okay, we got that. Okay. What an incredible place. It's so imposing. It's almost suffocating. This place is breathtaking. It looks like a fortress. It's steampunk as fuck. There are some stone buildings like this in Japan now, of course. But they've only been built in the few short decades since we opened our borders to the outside world. An authentic example like this has quite a different impact, wouldn't you agree? A far cry from the wood and paper most of our buildings are constructed from. It's certainly unfamiliar. But I think there's more to the differences than just the construction materials. What is this place again? This is the Lord Chief Justice's office, Naruhodo-san, in the Supreme Court of Great Britain. The Lord Chief Justice. We had instructions to report here at this time, if circumstances were different. We were supposed to let the Lord Chief Justice know that we had arrived from Japan. But Cosma can't. No. So instead, we are here in a different capacity. As envoys to report the news of Cosma-sama's death. Yes. And having delivered his or her message, an envoy's duty is done. So, we'd have to return to Japan. If we want to remain here in Great Britain, I have to take Cosmo's place as the law student selected for the study tour. Yes, which means you need the requisite qualifications as a lawyer, which is what I've been studying for. Here in Great Britain, it is the Lord Chief Justice who appoints lawyers. So that is the second reason why we're here, to have you officially recognized as a lawyer. It's the only way that we'll be able to remain here in London. I hope I'm up to scratch. Ah, good morning. Sorry for keeping you. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna try and do a really deep voice. I trust you aren't too exhausted after your long voyage from Japan. That's really bad. It seems I'm 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 47 seconds late. My apologies. Oh, no, don't mention it. We're never happier than when we're standing around with nothing much to do. How fortunate. So, introductions. I am Mael Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of the British Empire. Ugh, and I feel like a little mouse under an elephant's foot. Come on, Mr. Naruhodo, don't be a mouse. Oh, it's an honor to meet you, Lord Chief Justice Strongheart. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo from the Empire Japan. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, welcome to London, the capital of our glorious British Empire. Ah, yes, thank you. I also love, like, the huge steampunk inspo. It's interesting. Sorry, I just took a sip of something. Okay. I want to examine some stuff first. Let's look here. I've investigated thoroughly, but I can't find anything out of place. Okay, what's this? Look at these menacing metal giants facing each other across the room. I believe they're suits of armor. Oh, right. I thought maybe they were like the lion dogs we have in Japan guarding shrine gates. No, not at all. In fact, in Europe, suits of armor like these are always possessed by evil spirits, you know? And they roam around in the middle of the night. Really? Is there nothing you don't know, Miss Susato? This book tells me everything I need to know about everything. If you're ever unsure, just ask. Where did she get that incredible tome? Okay, we've looked here. Nothing there. Candelabra? Just look at these naughty books packed together on shelves. They go from floor to ceiling. And they're all books that you couldn't hope to come by in Japan. It's like a dream. Yes, a very bad dream. They're not at all about British law either. There are books about the judicial systems of other Western nations. France, Germany, Spain, Holland. What about Russia? Why do you ask? I was wondering about asking the Lord Chief Justice how you say wardrobe in Russian. What do you think? I think perhaps it's a thought best abandoned. Okay. Now these big clock. Is this some kind of clock? Actually, I think we might be inside some sort of giant clock. But those gears are larger than anything you'd find on a steam locomotive even. It's eerie. Do you think clocks are some sort of hobby of his? The Lord Chief Justice, I mean. Well, boys do enjoy fiddling around with machines, don't they? I'm not sure you could fiddle with cogs that size, and I'm certain you couldn't call him a boy. Still, it's amazing how little noise the cogs make, considering how large they are. There's actually something quite soothing about their precise rhythm. Okay. Nothing else to look around. Hello? Hello, would you like to talk about London? So, what are your impressions of our capital so far? How do you like London? Oh, help. I've been so nervous ever since I got here that I can't remember a single thing about the city. It's simply splendid, isn't it, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh? We had a wonderful view of some of London's streets from the carriage on the way from the station. Everything is so impressive and grand. I must say, I'm almost lost for words. I'm glad to hear you like it. The city boasts tramways, piped water and gas, even cable supplying electricity. We spearhead every revolutionary new technology in the world. Every visitor to London is astounded. Oh yes, astounded is the word. Thanks for saving me there, Suzato-san. And everyone seems so jolly and full of vigor. Yes. There's much excitement about the upcoming great exhibition we will be hosting here in London. Great exhibition? Cultural and technology achievements from around the globe are to be exhibited here in our great city. It will be the greatest spectacle of its kind in history, and will make Paris's World Fair look like a toy shop. Gosh, I can hardly imagine how magnificent it's going to be. Great Britain's capital is nothing but magnificent. London is the center of the modern world. Even if you do say so yourself. The sun will never set on our great empire. Perhaps it is fate that in these progressive times we welcome visitors from the land of the rising sun. Okay, law student. Hi, can I be a law student? Lord Chief Justice. I think you were expecting a student of law for the study tour, weren't you? Absolutely. A Mr. Kazuma Asogi, if my memory serves. That's right. The British government has already been telegraphed a full report on the situation. I understand the young man lost his life aboard the steamship bound for our shores. That's amazing. The news reached him before we even arrived. My country naturally extends its deepest condolences to yours. Oh, thank you. And you honored this appointment specifically to inform me of the news? Yes. We are here in the capacity of envoys from Japan to report the sad news in person. They tell me you Japanese are people of protocol and courtesy, and I see that it's true. And it is with some regret I must inform you that the death of the young lawyer means this study tour arrangement can no longer proceed. If you would just hear us out, Lord Strongheart. What do you have to say, madam? It's about the study tour. Mr. Naruhodo here would like to make a proposal. Would he now? Well, Mr. Naruhodo? This is it then. The moment of truth. Can I continue the study tour, please? Hello? The thing is, Lord Justice, Lord Strongheart, I was wondering if perhaps you would consider allowing the study tour to go ahead. Don't misunderstand me. Britain would ideally like to see the tour go ahead. But without a lawyer from your country, there's nothing to be done. Well, in that case, what if there was someone else? Another lawyer from Japan, I mean. Is there something I don't know? Only a single lawyer was invited to Great Britain from your country. And that was Mr. Asogi. At least, that is what I've been led to understand. Well, the thing is, this isn't really going well at all. I just can't seem to find the right word to say this to this man. Mr. Naruhodo, I could ruin things here if I'm not careful. What am I going to say? If there's someone else from Japan who could be described as a lawyer, it's... I mean, there's Miss Suzato, but it's gotta be me. 'Cause sexism. It's me. I can do it. Is that so? I mean, I don't actually have any qualifications such, but... No qualifications, you say, and yet you still claim to be a lawyer. I have acted as a lawyer in court before. Only once, as it happens. And I had Cosma to help me, and I was the accused. but glossing over the details. I've been spending every spare moment on the journey here to Great Britain studying. I've learned all about the British law and court proceedings while I was on board the SS Buria. The voyage from Japan is some 50 days, I believe. Not what you might call a full education. To become a qualified lawyer here in Japan, and here in Britain, sorry, not only do you need a university degree in law, you must also complete several years of training. I realize it's far too short a period of time, but I can't just go back to Japan. Kazuma, Mr. Sogi's journey has only just begun. Coming here on this study tour was all he thought about. I have to carry on and do everything he planned to do. Huh. I know it must sound like I have an overly inflated opinion of myself, but I would do anything to prove that I have what it takes. Any test you care to set to me. Just one chance. That's all I'm asking for. Please. 31 seconds. Sorry? Your opening statement there, Mr. Naruhodo. It was 31 seconds long. Not too brief, not too protracted. A perfectly judged appeal, I would say. Which is a skill that would stand you in good stead as a lawyer. Oh, thanks. So, you're willing to put those words to trial, are you? Well, I'm all for entertainment. Huh? But let me ask you one thing first, sir. Yes? You say you intend to do everything Mr. Sogi planned to do. Are you firmly set on that path? Well, yes, that's my intention. I see. Am I imagining things? Or did his expression just alter a fraction there all of a sudden? Very well. You have your wish. I'll give you a chance. A test to become a specially certified lawyer. Whether you pass or fail is entirely down to you. Really? What's the test? Hello? So, what form will the test take exactly? Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo, what do you consider the role of a lawyer to be? Well, defending people, of course. Well said. So, let's have you defend someone. Huh? Your timing is perfect, in fact. There's an apt trial about to begin later today. No advocate has been appointed for the defense as of yet, so this will be welcome news. Today? Straight away? If you manage to secure a verdict of not guilty, you'll have passed my test. What could be simpler? How do I get myself into these situations? Well, could I ask, what sort of trial is it, Lord Strongheart? Yes, good question. I remember. It's a murder trial. A murder? An extremely simple case, I understand. You really can't lose. That's easy to say. But I should mention, just in case, if the defendant is found guilty, he will of course be sentenced to capital punishment. Capital punishment? He'll be put to death? Here in Great Britain, murderers are sent to the gallows without exception. Presumably, you read that much in your short sea-based introduction to British law. We can't possibly agree to such a test. We would be toying with a man's life. I am the Lord Chief Justice, and I've decided it's acceptable. But you can't do that, can you? There's no need to overcomplicate it. All you have to do is ensure that you don't lose. So the defendant may live or die depending on how well I perform in court. If I lose, he'll be hanged. Mr. Naruhodo, you've come to me claiming to be a lawyer. Huh! If you want me to take you seriously, you need to prove that you're willing to do a lawyer's job. And you say you intend to see through the will of your compatriot, Mr. Sogi. I would like to understand just how far you're willing to go in order to make that happen. He's testing my resolve. What's the matter? You've fallen silent. I'm sorry, but time is pressing. The trial begins shortly. I need an answer from you now. What's it to be? What do I say? Do I agree to this absurd test? Let me just do a quick save. The responsible thing to do is not to agree. Maybe that's the test? Maybe it's like, hey, I can't really do that because it's not legal, it's not right. I can't do it. Alright then, if I have to give you a decision now, my answer is I can't do it. I can't get the words out. 15 seconds. Your decision making needs work if you want to be a lawyer. That was too slow. So, it's as I suspected, is it? Sorry? You have noble intentions, but lack the resolve to see them through. The test is cancelled. Thank you for stopping by. Go ahead and acquire your no! No, come on. Thank you for offering me a chance. Naruhodo. I'm sorry, Miss Susato, but what could I do? It's alright, I understand you do. It's not an easy decision to choose where to defend me, but resolve has absolutely nothing to do with it. What are you trying to say, madam? I think what Miss Susato means is that no matter how badly I'd like to be recognized as a lawyer and stay here in Great Britain, to risk another man's life by treating his one and only chance at trial so trivially, did I do it? Would be utterly unforgivable, and I feel exactly the same way. I'm sure the defendant won't see this trial as a test, as some kind of experiment. A lawyer may fight for his clients in court day after day, but for each one of those clients, the particular day they stand on the dock may be the only chance they have to fight to prove their innocence. No, I was wrong. I'm not qualified to do that job yet. I'm sorry for wasting your precious time, Lord Chief Justice. Wait, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, was there something else? It's approximately 20 minutes by carriage to Old Bailey from here. If you leave immediately, you should still be there in time. But I just said that. I was quite serious in what I told you. The defendant in this case has literally no one to advocate for him. What? At this point, he can't hope to find someone to represent him. The trial will begin without a defense. And if that happens, there's only one possible outcome. He will receive the most severe sentence the judge can pass down. But that's awful. But that is the truth. Why does it have to be like this? Please don't expect an answer to every question. The cold, hard truth of the matter is that there is only one person now with a chance to save this man from a very miserable end. And that is you. I'm really his only hope. So, what do you say now, madam? Me? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart? You said it wasn't an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances, and I agree. But in my estimation, it is purely and simply a matter of resolve. Oh. Our time is up here. I have a meeting to attend. I must leave in 2 minutes and 16 seconds. So, venture into our great city and enjoy yourselves. Oh. Oh, there he goes. He's gone. He flew away on those birds. The Old Bailey. If we're going to do this, Mr. Naruhodo, we must leave at once. Okay. Let's make freaking lose it. I'm going to the fucking Old Bailey. We're doing it. We're doing it with McFreakin' Rumbling. 18th February, 9:45 a.m. The Old Bailey. Defendant's Antechamber. Man, the text is really slow. Let me take a drink. Let me take a little swig. Just wet the old whistle. You know, as one must. Okay? Oh, thank goodness. We're in time. There's still 15 minutes until the trial begins. I never knew a horse-drawn carriage could go so fast. I thought my teeth were going to rattle loose. Did you hear what I said to the driver when we climbed aboard? Get us to our destination in 5 minutes, driver, and there's a guinea in it for you. It's one of my favorite lines from the Herlock Sholmes stories, and it worked perfectly. I'm not sure why you're so pleased. I thought we were going to die, and we had to pay gold for the privilege. Well, at least we arrived here before the trial started. Yes, I suppose there's that. Anyway, I don't understand it. The court clerk said the defendant should be here, but there's no sign of him at all. Where's our defendant? Hello? So this is the Old Bailey. Even this room for defendants to wait in is grand. Are you all right, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm feeling tense, that's all. This place gives me the same sense of foreboding that I remember from the Supreme Court in Japan. An oppressive air, almost as if the building itself is going to crush whoever is about to be sentenced. It feels like only yesterday that I was the one about to be crushed. Yes, whoever the man you're about to defend is, I imagine he's feeling very alone at this moment. Top of the morning to you, madam, sir. Oh, hello. What are yous doing following me here? Things are very desperate, are they? Sorry? Would you look at those expressionless faces? From the East, are yous? We're from Japan, yes. Ah, Japan, is it? Right, say no more. So, how much do yous need? No, we're just here because... No need to explain, fella. I've been there myself, so I have. No place to go, nothing to eat, barely a penny to your name, and all while strange faraway land. Well, actually, we haven't found a place to stay yet, no. 'Tis grand, 'tis grand. Let me start by giving yous 1,000 guineas. Say nothing now. 1,000 guineas? Oh man, he's a loan shark. Please, Miss Usato, you don't have to shout. But 1,000 guineas is enough to build an entire mansion in the most prestigious area of Tokyo. What? 'Tis nothing to me at all. I like to ensure I have sufficient funds to weather a rainy day, you see. I've enough wealth to buy the city of London 2 or 3 times over. This accent is all over the place. Could that much rain even fall in one day? Well, even so, we couldn't possibly accept such a large sum of money. Ow! That hit me in the eye! Don't get me wrong, fella. I'm not giving it to you, no strings attached. I'll be wanting you to do something for me. Oh? To be honest, 'tis a little embarrassing. The trial that's about to begin, you see, is for me good self here. I'll be in the dock. Oh. So now, what I want you to do is come along with me and stand there beside me. Officially, you be my lawyer, but that's just a little detail now. Oh, well, the thing is, don't worry about a thing. All you have to do is stand there next to me, nothing more. Otherwise, you see, the trial is going to start without me having any kind of representation at all. So it's true. The Lord Chief Justice wasn't just making it all up. I'm terribly sorry to have to ask, but does that mean you're the defendant in this trial? Bluster and blazes, do yous? Do yous not know who I am? Me, one of London's biggest names. No, sorry. We've only just arrived in the city, you see. I see. I suppose it isn't altogether impossible. Well, just next to Hyde Park there in the centre of London is another beautiful park. Sorry, a park? What? 'Tis called McGilded Park, full of blossoming flowers in spring and singing birds and whatnot. I donated it to the city, so I did. And an entire park in central London? A city smiles. That's my vision for London. There's nothing Magnus McGilded wouldn't do for the city and its queer old people. That's amazing. I mean, really extraordinary. But now they've the gall to say I'm a good-for-nothing criminal. Me, Magnus McGilded. What is the matter with London police, I ask ya? Alright. Don't pass out, dude. Mr. Naruto. Perhaps now would be a good time to introduce ourselves while the gentleman catches his breath. Good idea. Ow. That's him. That's him breathing. Mr. McGilded, the thing is, we're actually here in London to study British law. We're law students on a study tour from Japan, you see. Just more breathing. So if you don't have a lawyer for this trial yet, and you'd be happy to put yourself in our hands, we'll do our best. What was I after saying, you daft idiot? I've given you 1,000 guineas to stand up next to me, haven't I? Well, yes, but I wasn't really offering to just stand up there next to you. Oh, I think I see what's going on here. Why is he? He's now New York. Sorry? I know what you're thinking. This Chancellor fella claims to have more money than the Queen. But if that's true, why in the blaze can he hire the finest lawyer in all of England? What the fuck is happening? 'Cause he did it, that's the only explanation. I can't do his voice anymore. I'm just gonna make him New York. Well, no. Not at all, although it is a little strange, to be honest. Why you don't have a lawyer, I mean. That would be the fault of the Reaper. Sorry, did he just say Reaper? Aw man, so we back in the mine. Aye, the Grim Reaper Bailey, Lord Baron Van Zeeks, he's the prosecutor. The prosecutor? Is the Grim Reaper? Is that allowed? When Van Zeeks stands trial for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs. Huh. And to this day, in every single trial in which he's been a prosecutor, the accused has been damned. What? So it's reached a desperate situation where there's no one willing to stand in defense against this fella at all. You could say he's a living legend of the Old Bailey. Goodness, Lord Baron Van Zeeks. He must be an exceptionally talented prosecutor then. Talented isn't the word you're looking for, madam. It's cursed. Cursed? What on earth? Defendant is summoned, and his counsel. Please make your way to the courtroom. The trial's about to begin. His counsel? That would be me. Oh, 'tis time. Well then, fella, don't let me down. But I don't know anything about the case. You haven't told me what happened. Until you showed your face here, I made up me mind, so I had. Sorry? I decided I'd have to defend myself in there. How would that have worked? But then you made an appearance, a student of law, wouldn't you know? 'Tis no accident, I can assure you of that. 'Tis fate. So don't get cold feet now, please. Please help me. Okay. Don't cry. I literally know nothing about the case or anything about the man who stands accused. In fact, the only thing I do know is that I can't just turn my back on him. Mr. Naruhodo. The man has no one. He'll have to stand alone in that courtroom, armed with nothing to defend himself. Yes, something that Cosmo would have never allowed to happen. Counsel for the defense? That's the guy's accent. Counsel for the defense? What are you doing? If you're late for the start of the trial, you will lose your right to stand. I'll be right there. It's happening then. My first trial in a British court. I hope you're watching over me, Cosmo. Because I have no idea how I'm going to manage this. Boop, boop, boop. Let's say save. Oh. Okay. Okay. 18th February, 10 a.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. Oh, okay. So this is the highest court in Great Britain. The Old Bailey. The centuries of history in this place is palpable, isn't it? It's so different to the Supreme Court in Japan. It feels both imposing and serene at the same time. The atmosphere almost makes words redundant. Whatever the country, determining a person's guilt or innocence is always a solemn affair. May I say something, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes, what? Oh my gosh. Your eyes look ready to pop out of your head again. I know, but I just can't help it. Oh my god. What? Ooh. I like this look. He's cute. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here today to determine the guilt or innocence of Mr. Magnus McGilded. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is fully prepared. That must be the Reaper of the Bailey. He really does look fully prepared to dispatch his next poor victim to the underworld. Counsel for the defense, you appear to be Eastern. Do you speak English? Hey, he's in a court of fucking law. Huh? Oh, yes, of course, sorry. He's like, he would not be here. He would not be here if he could. How would everything occur for him to be here if he wasn't? Already bad sign for the judge. But he asked if the defense is ready. And I couldn't be further from ready if I tried. I don't know what this means. Just skipping. Trepidation. What? They run wild, clinging to some phantom notion of courage. Quintessential look of a sacrificial lamb. What? Wait. What? Sorry, sir. What? What the fuck are you saying? He's like... I don't understand this. Why are you like... Why is he like this? I did not know he was like this. Just weird. A cold shiver just ran down my spine all the way to the tips of my toes. Yeah, he's weird all right. Now, Mr. McGilded. Yes, my lord? You stand accused of murder, a capital offense. You could be sent to the gallows if found guilty. Are you quite sure you wish to entrust your defense to this Fuck you, Santa. I stood for you. I was on your fucking side. As I've always said, me lord, 'tis a grand thing to give opportunities to young. Even if it fell of a student from some little island or from the Far East. You're a student from a little island. Is it not the British way to ignore the dangers to yourself and give the less fortunate a fair chance? Okay, now I just don't want to be here at all. Like to think that the acts of chivalry do the great British Empire proud. Listen to Mr. McGilded. What a fine gentleman London has in him. Did you hear that he donated £5,000 to the government the other day? Mother, please may we go play in McGilded Park? Why is a child there? It seems as though everyone in the public gallery is firmly behind Mr. McGilded. That's definitely welcome news, and he certainly has a way with words. I'm surprised he couldn't convince anyone to defend him. Eloquently put, Mr. McGilded, and most laudable sentiments. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm sure I need hardly remind you that you members of the public have been selected for your impartiality. Are you ready to proceed? Yes, my lord. If the task is to send more rotters to the gallows where they belong, I'm more than ready. I'm gonna do a different accent. Because I already did that accent. Yes, my lord. If the task is to send rotters to the gallows where they belong, I'm more than ready. At the manor, his lordship always says we should dispose of rubbish promptly. Naturally, I agree. Ha! Any criminals here with CB, should they never set eyes on me? Oop. Oh. Drinking on the job. I feel a chill. Oh, don't mind me, my dears. I'll just be getting on with my knitting. Must finish these mitts for my grandson. Ah, Mr. Naruhodo, those people are... the jury. Yes, that's something we don't have in Japan yet. That's right. I've only read about it. But here in Great Britain, the court's final verdict depends on the opinions of these 6 jurors. The judge passes the sentences according to the law, but the jurors determine guilt based on common sense. So the defendant is ultimately judged from 2 completely different points of view. But how exactly do the jurors give their verdict? That I don't know, but I'm sure it will become clear as the trial progresses. Yes. Prosecutor Van Zieks. My lord? It's been a number of years since we've seen you here in this courtroom. I thought you'd renounced your fame. I'm known as the Reaper of the Bailey, my lord. Infamy rather than fame, I would say. But yes, 5 years have passed since I last spread my wings in this capacity. So what brings you back? Is there some change of circumstances of which the court should be aware? I leave that to your imagination, my lord. So the Reaper has been out of action for 5 years. Why did he have to choose today of all days to make a comeback? Don't lose heart, Mr. Naruhodo. As you wish, sir. The court nevertheless welcomes your return. Now then, opening statements, I think. A summary of the case, if you please. Certainly, my lord. As your lordship is aware, this is a case of overwhelming simplicity. You must be the only ones here who are unaware. The incident took place in the late evening. 3 days passed. The hour was some minutes after 10. The victim was a maker of building bricks known in the community as the thrice-fired mason. Sorry? Thrice? He was a very accomplished craftsman. The bricks he fired were said to be almost indestructible. The victim's corpse was discovered in an omnibus in the service in service on the streets of London at the time. A dagger that had been thrust in the victim's abdomen is believed to be the ultimate cause of death. Here is the autopsy report from the investigating medical officer at Scotland Yard. Thank you, counsel. I shall accept that in the photograph as evidence. The autopsy report has been entered into the court record. The photograph of the crime scene has been entered into the court record. Bada bing, bada boom. And one further item of evidence. The prosecution wishes to submit these as well. And these are... Good lord! Is that blood, counsel? Yes, my lord. Seized by a policeman who arrived at the scene. I just accidentally spilled a little bit of my juice on it. Sorry. These gore-soaked gloves were taken from the hands of the accused when he was arrested. What? Mr. McGilded's gloves had blood on them? Rabble, 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 rabble. Yes, I will accept these as evidence as well. The defendant's leather gloves have been entered in the court record. How did I get into this? I'm backed into the corner before I've even started. Continuing. According to the driver of this omnibus, there were only 2 passengers traveling inside his vehicle at the time. Only 2? Obviously, one of those passengers was the deceased brickmaker, Mr. Mason. The other was the accused, Mr. Magnus McGilded. Ha 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 ha, we're all like, what the fuck? Well, rather damning circumstances to say the least. Defendant, what say you? Well, of course, I have no recollection of such a thing. Mr. McGilded? To be sure, I rode the omnibus that evening, but whenever I'm in a carriage, I'm taken with the fierce tiredness, and I always succumb to it. Are you claiming to have been asleep? 'Tis the motion of the carriage, my lord. Lilting, so it is, and when I open my eyes again, 'twas a desperate sight before me, the body of a man I'd never laid eyes on before in my life. Now I ask yous, what's a good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. So the blood got into the gloves then, after the man had been killed. Unfortunately, that statement of the driver's is only the beginning. What? That's not all of it? There were multiple witnesses to the precise moment at which the brickmaker was fatally stabbed. Oh, everybody's losing their shit. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Order! 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 I don't want to yell. When the killing took place, only the victim and the accused were inside the carriage. Why is he having... All the voices are getting mixed up, and that's just what we're going to have to deal with. And they're witnesses to the crime. This is not just a case of compelling evidence. It's the nail in the coffin for the accused. Huh. Thank you, counsel. The circumstances of the crime have been made quite clear. I think we will hear testimony from the witnesses. These witnesses, first of all. Your wish is my command. Is that it? Bailiff, bring the witnesses in at once. So he's just a vampire. Is that what we done? He's just a vampire. He's just a vampire. Witnesses, your names and occupations. My name is, well, everybody calls me Beppo. I drive an omnibus at the East End. Bruce Fairplay, I'm a banker in the city. My name's First, Lady First. I make hats for gents. Let's begin by confirming the facts. 3 days ago, at a short time after 10 o'clock in the evening, all of you present in the stand were in an omnibus and witnessed the aforementioned incident. Is that correct? Yes, sir. Quite right. Yes, sir. That's right, sir. Very well, then. Let's proceed to your formal testimonies, please. Each of you will tell the court precisely what you saw. Witness testimony. What the witnesses saw. Let me refresh some stuff first. I also got added on Discord. This happens sometimes. Ooh. Okie dokie. What else? Okie dokie. Just checking what everyone has added to me. I can't check those out because I am streaming. I'll check them out later. I'm gonna real quick get some water. I will be right back. Okie dokie. Back. It was the last day of evening, so I had a few customers. I remember it well. The victim and the man accused of killing him were sat next to each other inside the bus. These are bad accents. I'm trying to do Jason Statham. Then out of the blue, the accused just reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts. That's right, he stabbed him. I screamed, I did. I couldn't help it. As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped my bus. And then I saw it too. Unambiguous testimony, I must say. Exactly, my lord. These men witnessed the incident in the omnibus with their own eyes. I'd like to ask a question, if I may. Yes, counsel? Well, this testimony makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. Why not? Well, the incident took place inside a moving carriage, didn't it? As has been clearly stated from the outset, yes. Well, in that case, how could those two witnesses possibly have seen what had happened? There's no way they could have seen the inside of a moving carriage. How quaint. I read that civilization in the Eastern... Fuck you. But you're here in London... fuck you. Huh? Tell me. Have you traveled in an omnibus? Well, no. We, only arrived in London this morning. No matter. I've arranged for us to see for ourselves the actual scene of the crime, that is. What do you mean? The actual scene? How? A carriage is designed to be moved, after all. Presumably you understand that much. Yes. The omnibus in which this bloody crime took place is here today, in this very building. Here? What? The entire carriage? Bailiff? Bring forth the stricken omnibus. Here it is, here it is. So that's an omnibus. The omnibus. I can't believe they could bring out something so enormous in here. Great Britain's courtrooms are amazing. As you can see, the omnibus is pulled by 2 horses and can carry up to 8 passengers. 4 passengers seated inside the enclosed cabin, and another 4 on the rooftop deck above. Every Londoner knows that the best views of the city's architecture and sights are to be had from the top of an omnibus. And I should point out to our foreign guests that there is a skylight in the roof, allowing for the view of the interior from the seats above. Ah, skylight. Oh, he just looks straight at us. I love when he does that. The penny drops at last, I see. These two gentlemen were occupying the rooftop seats of the omnibus when the murder took place. That is how they came to witness the grim incident. Through the skylight. Ah, that makes perfect sense. Well, Counsel, this is a first. In all my years behind the... I've never experienced a crime scene itself brought into the courtroom. There are a number of important clues remaining inside the carriage, my lord. I would like to submit the omnibus itself as evidence. That is the prosecution's wish. Very well, I see no reason why not. This omnibus is hereby formally accepted as evidence. The omnibus has been entered into the court record. Woo! I can't believe it. The entire crime scene entered as evidence. Yes, Great Britain is simply extraordinary. I could help myself a lot by giving that omnibus a thorough examination, seeing as it's here. Let us continue with proceedings then. Your cross-examination, Counsel. Pray don't... Oh my god. Fuck, shut the fuck up. I am a little poopy baby. My name is Van Zeeks. I'm a little poopy pee-pee baby. Okay. Enter that into evidence. Alright, my first cross-examination in a British court. Ooh! Focus, Ryunosuke. Focus. What the witnesses saw. Okay, let me start. I want to look at my evidence first. Okay, I got an armband. I got omnibus. I want to look at this first. Let's start right over here. John Masters. Ooh, I like skylight. So this is the roof deck of the omnibus. Oh, you must have a wonderful view of London streets from up here. So people sit all the way up here on bitter winter nights with cold air rushing past them? And they have to pay money to do so? Brr, I can't imagine how cold it must feel. That just made me think of something horrible. Can you imagine being dragged around the city in the freezing cold as a punishment? Perhaps that is the real price you pay to stay out late. So I can't see the skylight, or can I? You can certainly see inside the carriage through this opening, that's for sure. Yes, and there's a lamp in the enclosed cabin. So I'm sure the witnesses would have been able to see quite clearly. That's not good for us. Phoenix Wright Omni... what a nice little treat. That is a nice little treat right there. Okay, anything up here? Okay. Yeah. Let's just look inside. Let's actually go in. Well, let's open the door and go inside, shall we? The scene of a murder. It's horrible. Whoop. You should undersea over here. What's this? That's a poster for the great exhibition that's due to start 6 months from now. There's a lot of focus being drawn to the Crystal Tower, centerpiece of the whole exhibition, or exposition. Ooh, the Crystal Tower. It's under construction already, I believe. People all over London must be fizzing with excitement at the prospect of such a grand event. Okay, what's this? It looks like something right here. This seat has a handle, it seems. What's in here? You got shit in here? What's this? This looks like all sorts of equipment that might be needed to keep the omnibus running. Feeding tubes, tools to repair wheels, blankets, horseshoeing tools. So it's a storage compartment for the coachman to keep his things, it seems. There doesn't seem to be any space for passengers to store their luggage, that's for sure. Well, I don't imagine it would be very convenient for that purpose anyway. Is there anything else in here? No? The other one? Oh, there's this one. Notice. What's this? This is right here. Ah, that's a poster for the Great Exhibition. Blood? Blood? Tell me about the blood. That's blood that's soaked into the seat. The victims, obviously. Yes, and that seat would be clearly visible from the roof deck. Would you really stab someone in full view of the other passengers like that? I wonder. Well, it was after dark, and there was a lamp on in here, so perhaps the culprit couldn't see anything outside through the skylight. Whichever way you look at it, it doesn't seem like it was a planned attack. Yeah, could it be self-defense? I mean, I don't know if I trust him, but yeah. Nothing else? Just through here? Let's see. It's quite a large skylight, isn't it? Yes, quite large enough to afford a good view into the cabin from the roof deck. And there doesn't appear to be a handle or catch of any description. So I suppose it can't be opened from the inside of the cabin, at least. Okay, anything else? I feel like there's got to be something in here. We'll have to go back to that. Otherwise, can't do much here. Let's look at all this stuff. Let's look at this blood. So it's on the thumb. I don't know if that's like the best area. I don't know. I would feel like if you're holding a knife, it would get on the other side of the glove, you know? Because you'd be holding the knife inside, and so the blood would be getting on the outside, on the fingers. So it's kind of, it's fucking with me there. This is definitely blood, isn't it? Not the most pleasant sight to be confronted with on our first day in London. Well, nothing will come of grumbling now. No. By the way, is Mr. McGilded right-handed? Yes, I believe so. He was toying with a coin in his right hand earlier. Huh. Pity. If only he'd been left-handed. I think blood on either glove would be fairly incriminating, really. I really think it's a matter of, like, it's not here. Is that not weird? Am I the only one who's thinking? If you stab someone, it would be like right here, because that's the part that blood would get on more than inside of it. Let's take a look. I can't actually examine this. Oh, let me actually look at my, this too. Autopsy report. Thrice fired, mason, brickmaker, stabbed once in the abdomen with a knife while journeying, died due to hemorrhaging. Okay. Guess we'll have to find all of our stuff from these people. Okay. Actually, let me get an idea of what everyone's ages are. No, I can't do that. It was a... What is it? What's the voice I did? It was the last bust of the evening, so I had a few customers I remember well. The victim and the man accused of killing him were sat next to each other inside the bus. Then out of the blue, the accused just reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts. That's right, he stabbed him. I screamed, I did. Couldn't help myself. As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped my bus, and then I saw it too. Alright, so when it happened, the only two people in the enclosed cabin area were the victim and the defendant. And, so help me, 3 whole people witnessed the man I'm trying to defend do the deed. I don't like to be pessimistic, but we do seem to be in a rather difficult situation here. Ugh. What am I supposed to think here? Is Mr. McGilded really innocent? Or could it be? Before we jump to conclusions, our first task should be to gather information. We need to understand the case much better than we do at the moment. Yes, you're absolutely right. Let's listen to those witnesses' statements again, and a little more carefully this time. Okay, last bus of the evening. Okay, few customers. Press.
Hold it!
Tell me about it. Tell me about your. Yes, I think it was sometime after 10, wasn't it? Oh yes, sir. That's right. Yes, it was so cold, freezing actually. Okay. And you had 4 passengers on board at the time. Is that correct? Yes, that's right, sir. Not all traveling the same parts of the bus, of course. So no. No one being weird. Okay. And there was no other passengers when the incident took place? No one alighted, for example? You're quite right with that, sir. No other passengers like that. No, none. No one being weird. So nobody fled the scene of the crime then. I have to say, the boss insist on it running, he does, every evening, the last bus of the day. Anyone? But I do wonder sometimes if it's altogether worthwhile. Yes, so sorry to say. What do you mean by that? Well, what with it being so cold and everything, and only making 20 pence on the run, you see. Yes, I spend that much on that pub on the way home just trying to warm up again. The victim and the man accused of killing him were sat next to each other inside the bus. Hughes just reached over and plunged a knife right in his guts. Can I go back? Okay, they were next to each other.
Hold it!
Let's get this information. And you saw them through the skylight on the roof of the carriage? That's right. Well, you sit up on the top deck. The window's right there above your feet. That's Jason Statham. That sure is, isn't it? There was a lamp on the inside, so I had a pretty good view. 2 of them were wearing hats, and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. But there's not a shred of doubt in my mind that it was Mr. McGilded. How can you be so sure? Well, how do I put it politely? Mr. Gilded is a gentleman of a rather small stature. I couldn't have mistaken him for anyone else. Let's not forget that when the vehicle came to a halt, the only people inside the enclosed cabin were the deceased Mr. Mason and Mr. McGilded. There's no room for doubt here. Ugh, I really wish there was. And on the blue one, Keys just reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts. Okay, tell me about that. Tell me about that. You actually saw the exact moment it happened? Didn't I already testify to that? Oh, our fair, dinkum, hard-working Citibank's not considered trustworthy these days. Oh, no, I didn't mean that. This is no good. I've really got his back up. Perhaps you could just tell us what you saw in a little more detail if that's... My lord. Juror number 3? I just broke character. Juror number 3. What's the meaning of this? My mind is made up, my lord. Completely and utterly made up. Made up about what? I don't like the stinking rich. Never have. Okay, me too. They're always up to something or other that they shouldn't be. Every one of them. You're right. And that little leprechaun of a man is no exception. Well, he can't fool me. There's no point wasting time listening to any more of this. That's my opinion on the matter anyway. Hold it. What? That is precisely what I was about to say. What the fuck? As the foreman of the jury, it's my duty to set a good example to my fellow jurors. Dude! I barely even got stuff here. Don't do that. What is happening here? Let me see. Ah, yes. It seems that's how members of jury give their verdicts. With fire? Apparently, yes. White for innocent and black for guilty. As the 6 members of the jury make up their minds about the case, one by one, they each cast a ball of fire into the great scales of justice, as we saw a moment ago. So if those enormous scales fall completely to the black side, does that mean... Let's do our very best to make sure that doesn't happen. Now I'm even more worried than I was before. Very well. The court acknowledges the change in the jury's stance. Counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination. This is a nightmare. That's right, he stabbed him. I screamed, I did. I couldn't help it. Anything else? As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped my bus. Okay. Pressing you. Hello? He stabbed him, you say. And you were sitting up on the roof deck, were you? Yes, that's right, sir. I was up on the roof seats. I remember seeing little gent sitting next to the fellow that was stabbed. Thinking about a new hat design, you see, so just gazing absentmindedly around. Anyone being weird? Anyone being weird? No? But then I happened to look down through the skylight. It was sticking right out from his belly, that huge great knife. A grim sight indeed. Ah, that didn't help me at all. No, I'm allowed to, the jury look like they're even more convinced that my client did it than they were before. That appears to have made everyone even more dubious that Mr. McGilded is telling the truth. If only we had some evidence to counter their suspicions. Mr. First? Oh, yes, sir? Is this knife? Is this the knife you saw? Oh, good grief, yes, that's it. The very one, sir. Is that? Yes, counsel. This is the blade that was driven into the victim's belly like a stake through the heart. That is a blade of considerable size, counsel. It is, and furthermore, the scabbard is emblazoned prominently with a certain initial. The letter M, which seems oddly familiar. Please, no. M for Magnus, perhaps, or McGilded, possibly. Take your pick. It seems this particular big name in London made a magnificent mistake. Objection! Hey, dude. Oh, bad slap. But there are M's everywhere. Like, yes. Like in Mason.
Objection!
Oh my god. This blade is far too extravagant for a poor brickmaker to have owned. No, this weapon of murder almost certainly belongs to the accused. Ugh. Not conclusive, but certainly compelling, counsel. Murder weapon has been entered into the court record. My lord, if you'll forgive the interruption. Juror number 2, go on. Mr. McGilded is a pillar of society and a gentleman's word should be sacrosanct. However... Oh no! Those of us in service know we must accept hard truths. Wait, what are you about to do? Dispose of the rubbish. Oh my god, no. No! I don't wish to cause offense, but I do like to eradicate all traces of filth and grime. Hold on. No! I have painstakingly typed every word uttered here today and cross-referenced all the facts. As such, I am now in a position to draw the only logical conclusion. No! Not again! That's 4 out of 6 jury members who proposed a guilty verdict. There are only 2 left. We've had it. Every time I press these witnesses for more information, I just make the situation worse. Nevertheless, what we need more than anything at the moment is more information. We're still very much in the dark. I suppose I'll just have to keep pressing the witnesses, knowing that more sparks may well fly. We mustn't give up hope that we'll uncover something that will give us the way to fight back. But Alright, I'll keep trying. I can't give up. I just need to keep calm and listen to the witnesses' statements again. As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped my bus, and then I saw it too. Okay, let's look at my evidence first. This might be it. No, what's this? Let's just open it. That part is the sheath, isn't it? Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, sorry. Yes, I just don't really like blades. Oh. Those don't seem like the words of a man with a large katana slung around his waist. Fuck. Let me take a sip. I am like spiraling. Okay. That's not a blade, that's Kazuma's soul. Anyway, there's no sense in delaying it. Let's see what the blade looks like. Okay. That is an M, but it could be a W. Has anyone thought of that? An ornate letter M. Undeniably Mr. Magnus McGilded's initials. And it's beautifully gilded, too. It must be very valuable, I should think. Ah! What is it? Look at this M. If you turn it upside down, it becomes a W. This could change everything. A W? Yes, this is one of those, you know, turnabout cases. I'm sure of it. I'm afraid I don't know at all. But what I am sure of is that this is an M. Oh, well, the idea was quickly squashed. Damn. They know my brain. Is there anything over here? Anything over here? Nope, just blood to look at. Ugh, that looks a lot like blood. It surely is blood. The victims. Ugh, an Englishman's blood looks a lot like a Japanese man's blood. Did you think it wouldn't? Sorry, it's just that we've only just arrived here in Great Britain. I'm finding it a little hard to adjust. Yes, I do understand. Okay. So not much else to do. Saw screen. So tell me, this could be the information. What exactly did you see? Oh, well, sir, that would be the passenger, sir. Yes, collapsed on the floor he was. And by the passenger, obviously you're referring to the victim, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker. And the other passenger had that knife in his hand, like this. That's not... Hey, buddy? By the other passenger, obviously you're referring to the accused, Mr. Magnus McGilded. And then he plunged out like this, stabbing the other passenger in the belly. Okay. What? But that's... You couldn't have seen that. My lord, I wish to speak. Yes, juror number 5, do I take it that you too? As the master of London Guildmaster of Coachmen, the idea of a murder being committed in one of the city's carriage is utterly abhorrent to me. It wouldn't be right to make a decision before hearing all the facts, though, I said to myself. Fuck. Grandma, don't do this to me. But I've heard enough now. The horse is bolted, as they say. No, please, just keep an open mind a little long. Gear, silver blaze, the finish is in sight. Grandma will be our only salvation. Grandma, don't do this. Granny, don't do this. Beppo is a long-standing member of the guild, and I trust what the man says. Oh, thank you, sir. You're too kind, sir. This is too unkind, sir. Which now means that 5 jurors agree to condemn this man. Come on, Granny, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Madam Juror number 6. Yes, dear? What can I do for you? You've heard the testimony of the witnesses in the stand. Oh yes, I certainly have. Still got my hearing, you know. Then, pray tell, why are you yet to pronounce your leaning? Well, dear, the thing is, I'm a creature of habit, me. I always go to the park at around this time of day and sit on a nice bench and get on with my knitting. Is this... Oh my... This is such good shit. There's a lovely little park just near where I... Ooh! McGilded Park it's called. The gentleman donated it to the city, you know, to put a smile on Londoners' faces, he said. I can't imagine such a fine young gentleman would have it in him to take another man's life. He's always doing wonderful things for the city. That's right, a man like that wouldn't stab someone, surely. Mother, may we go to McGilded Public Library after this and borrow some books? How many Londoners live with their heads in the clouds? Do you people not know what kind of man Magnus McGilded really is? What kind of man is he? What? The philanthropist Magnus McGilded has enough wealth to purchase the entire city he claims to value so highly. But where did all that wealth come from? Your client is a Shylock, sir. One with the very darkest of souls. What? Stolen the crows. McGilded lends money at extortionary rate of interest, so his victims have no hope of repaying him. When they default, he takes possession of everything they own. He's a vulture that preys on the weak. I've never heard of any mention of that before. I mean, I called it. Your faculties haven't deserted you, I'm sure, madam. So has this thought not crossed your mind? Would a man wealthy enough to buy London in its entirety not have a carriage of his own? That is a good point. What possible reason could this man have had to make use of a public omnibus service? You're not saying that. The victim, a poor brickmaker, had next to nothing to his name, save a considerable financial liability. It will come as no surprise that his creditor was the accused, Magnus McGilded. But let it also be known that the very day Mr. Mason was killed was the final repayment date for his debts. Good gracious! The brickmaker was destitute. He lost his house. He had not a shilling to which to repay his debts. And in the end, this pitiful soul had the very last thing he owned taken from him, his life. By the merciless philanthropist pretender, Magnus McGilded. I don't believe it. Oh shit, yeah. If I might add something briefly. Miss Usato. You claim that the victim had been lent money by Mr. McGilded, but where is the evidence to support your claim? Is he allowed to do that? Is he allowed to drink in court? Are you allowed to do that? Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice in the court of law. There it is. Lord Van Seek's hallowed chalice. There he goes again. How can this be considered acceptable? But I find myself in unexpectedly good humor. I had heard ladies from the Far East could show great courage, but I didn't expect to experience it myself. Oh my god, shut the fuck up. As Judicial Assistant to Defense, I am simply doing my job. What a pity that your display of courage is in vain. This is a debtor's ledger, which details all monies loaned by the accused. You'll find the victim's name clearly recorded inside. Oh. Allow me to present this ledger as evidence. And pray forgive the discourtesy of raising my chalice and toast to the enigmatic East at the same time. Marvelous toast, Counsel. I will gladly accept this new evidence. Why are you simping? Why are you simping for him? He's kind of a weirdo. He's kind of weird. I thought he was going to be sexy, but I guess not. Guess we gotta take that back. Let me take this. Just taking a drink, taking a sip. Ah yes, 20 guineas. The victim owed a considerable sum, and the accused made quite certain he had ample recompense. Well, it would seem I've I've had the wool pulled over my eyes. Regrettably, madam, that is the modus operandi of the accused. And it's such a pretty little park, too. What a scoundrel. No, no, no. Still, maybe it's all for the best. No, wait. Oh, wait a minute. Let's think about this a little more before. I don't stand for nonsense. No, 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 no. Did I just... No. No. But I still gotta convince the judge, right? That was it. The last juror's decision. According to this Encyclopedia of British Law, when all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended and the presiding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. That is what it says here. The final verdict. It's over then. Oh. There's a footnote, though. A footnote? However, the defense... All 6 members of the jury are now in agreement on the case. Wait, I got a thing I can do as a defense. As a defense, I can do something. Allow me to convey my respect for your swift and righteous decision. According to the laws of this country, I will now conclude the trial by delivering my final verdict. I trust there are no objections. No, let me object. I object. Miss Usato, just tell me one thing. Oh, yes? You were in the middle of saying something before. The footnote in your Encyclopedia of British Law. However, the defense... What did it say next? Oh, yes, of course. One moment. When all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended, and the presiding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. Then the footnote says, however, the defense has the right to demand a summation examination of the jurors at this point. Let's do it. A summation? Examination? Train station?
Objection!
A summation examination? From which century has that tome you have there been resurrected? Judging from the binding, I would say the book is at least 50 years old. Any modern text on British laws wouldn't even give such an antiquated procedure a mention. It's a relic, long forgotten, and certainly no longer practiced. So you're out of luck. Oh. No, we're not out of luck. What even is it, Miss Usato? This so-called summation examination? Oh, one moment, and I'll read about it. You would demand the right to procedure before you even understand what it entails. Oh my god, shut the fuck up. He pee-pee-poo-poo in his pants. Fuck this guy. Let me... scooting up. Let me mute while I scoot up. Okay. Let me check. Oh, I skipped past some dialogue. Whoops. Hate to do that. Alright, Mr. Naruhodo. I think I understand. It seems that under this procedure, we would be able to appeal to the members of the jury. To do what, exactly? Appeal to them to change their leaning and reverse their decisions. It says here that, if successful, the proceedings of the trial must be resumed. Make them reverse their decisions. Yes, in times gone by, barristers would use a summation examination to attempt to influence the jury's decision. But that procedure became something of a formality with no practical benefit, really, so it rather fell out of use. I wonder why. Because it was devoid of purpose. Changing just one member of the jury's mind would be hard enough, let alone several. No self-respecting defense barrister would even assert his right to try in this day and age. Well, I'm not self-respecting. I'll do it. Still, I don't see any mention of the procedure actually being formally revoked. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that though it may be antiquated and largely forgotten, it isn't yet extinct. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? A summation examination, our last possible option. Do we assert our right to carry it out, or admit defeat? We're doing it. We don't have self-respect. Fuck you. The defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination, my lord.
Objection!
Don't object. Fuck you. Shut up. London is the capital city of the most powerful nation on earth. We have a duty to the world to exemplify the very high standards of judicial procedure. Summation examinations are an embarrassment that should remain buried.
Objection!
You're an embarrassment that should remain buried. But if it's our right, it's our right. I believe it could prove vital in this trial. The defense's petition is perfectly valid. The court will proceed with the summation examination. This is madness. Foreman, are you and the remainder of the jury ready? Well, I'm not, There is no mention of this in the letter I received, so all members of the jury will be asked to explain on what grounds they have reached their decision. On what grounds? You must all justify your decisions and explain why you believe the defendant to be guilty. Well, my lord, you're rather putting us on the spot. This is most irregular. No mention was made of this before. I don't really hold with all this justifying lot. That seems to have thrown the jurors off. It seems that none of them have experienced this before. All right then, the summation examination. A defense procedure no practicing lawyer has attempted for years, is it? Well, just maybe. It might be... Oh, I'm really congested. Hold on. Okay, should be good congestion-wise. It might be the opportunity we've been looking for to turn this trial around. So be it then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. The court hereby calls upon you to state the grounds on which you find the defendant, Magnus McGilded, guilty of this most serious of crimes. Judicial findings. The jurors' contentions. There was no one else inside the carriage at the time, so it has to have been him. I trust the driver. He has an excellent memory, it seems. 4 passengers with fares totaling 20 pence. He stuck the chap next to him just like this. Brazen, I must say. Absolutely brazen. I've simply typed and collated all the statements made thus far and drawn the logical conclusion. You can trust the guild. Fair fares is our motto. We haven't raised... Ooh! Ooh! We haven't raised the prices above 4 pence 4 years. 4 pence? Then how do you have 20 pence? How does he have 20 pence if he's only driving 4 people? I know math. The scoundrel stabbing that poor man on the floor. It beggars belief when on the floor. There's so much here. I'm starting to wish I had been pushed for this now. No, it's so obvious. Some of the jurors don't seem to have wonderfully formed arguments, though, do they? Well, let's see what we can do. We need to get these 6 people to change their minds. I have to throw everything I can at them and use some very persuasive language. Just a moment, Mr. Naruhodo. According to my book, that's not quite how it works. Oh? I thought I was going to have to thaw their icy minds with some heartwarming rhetoric about the defendant. Unfortunately, once the jurors have decided the defendant is guilty, they're unlikely to heed anything the defense says. But then, they've reached their conclusions by their own reasoning, you see. Your pleas will sound like excuses. In fact, it could recoil on you. The more you try to persuade them, the more entrenched they may become. Then what on earth am I supposed to do? Oh dear, I'm just citing what I've read about. British law, Mr. Naruhodo. Right, I'm sorry. Do you have any idea how to make this work then? Wow, I'm really congested. Hold on. I literally can't get my napkins out, so hopefully I'm gonna be good. Right, I'm sorry. Do you know how to make this work then? Well, from what I can understand, the key to this procedure is using the juror's own words to make your argument. Yeah, I know exactly how to do that. I know how to do that. Well, the 6 members of the jury are randomly selected from members of the public. They may appear to be present a united force, but the truth is, they are complete strangers who just happen to find themselves here in the courtroom together. And that's exactly the way we break them down, you mean? Yes, exactly. We must listen very carefully to what each member of the jury says, and see if we can identify the contradictory statements. If we can then contrast the statements and pit the corresponding jurors against each other. I see. So it's contradictions in what 2 or more jurors say that we're looking for. Well, I already know what it is. I already know. It's similar to a regular cross-examination. Oh, yes, I suppose you're right. I got it. Find contradictions in their statements and pit the jurors against one another. Break them down. I already see it. I might be able to pull this off. No, that's not right. I have to pull this off. Can we start the proceedings, counsel? I would ask you take a stand for this. I'm expecting a clear and concise rebuttal. Yes, my lord. I got it. I McFreakin' got it. Oh, there he is. The defense's rebuttal. There's no one in carriage. Has to be him. Let's just skip. Pit. Hit. Yo. Fucking do the math. Those 2 statements clearly contradict each other. They do. Explain yourself, counsel. Me? Oh dear, what have I said? I swear on Solar Blaze's maiden name, I haven't the idea what you're talking about. According to the group testimony we've heard so far, there were 4 passengers on the omnibus in the night in question. And according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 20 pence in fares. Quite right, I have those precise details typed neatly here in front of me. And juror number 5 also told us the following. The fare for the omnibus is always 4 pence. Ooh, I'm really congested. Okay, should have it fixed. Let me just angle differently. That it is a fair and convenient single price, just the way London carriages should be operated. I accidentally muted myself again. Okay. But that doesn't quite add up at all. Oop. Oop. In fact, it leaves a glaring discrepancy in the facts. Why, man, why? 4 passengers paying 4 pence each. If you do the multiplication... Huh. It would be 16 pence. Exactly. As I said, it doesn't add up. The figures are different. By 4 pence, in fact. Or precisely 1 person's fare. 1 person's fare? Yes, in other words, on the omnibus at night, it's distinctly possible there was another passenger we've heard nothing about. Good gracious. And I know where they were hidden. In the little thing. This can't be right. The coachmen of the guild are good, honest men, one and all. Trustworthiness is our watchword. The figures your coachman claims most certainly do not add up. Your watchword, good sir, is a fallacy. I beg your pardon? Mr. Guildmaster, I think you ought to consider that if this trial were to end now, the news would surely spread all over London. The news that your coachman tried to hide the fact he let a nefarious character onto his omnibus. I need to pause. So I gotta go help unpack groceries. So why don't I get to stopping point soon? Okay, so we'll go here, and then we'll go to stopping point. Oh, sorry. So I'll have to stop soon, but the news that... yeah, let me continue with this. Huh. Alright then, how do I make it so that miserable trial doesn't end, Well, according to my book here, you simply launch a ball of fire into the incense side of the set of scales. Now hold your horses there, coachman. We were all in agreement. Why do you have to go and... Wait till I get my hands on you, Beppo. Oh shit. He's like, I'm gonna fucking fight you, dude. Oh, hell yes. This is all very irritating. Begging your pardon, sir. I'm going to do the same. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. For the love of Mike, not you as well. A penny can be a difference between a smile and a tear, after all. I certainly can't put my trust in someone who doesn't follow my exacting standards of financial matters. Oh, really? I, for one, think it's proper to hear from the witnesses again. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. You did it. If we can manage to change 2 more jurors' minds, we can force the trial to continue. 2 more. Actually, there is something else that's bothering me about a couple of their assertions. We'll have to figure out what's bothering when we continue this next time. yeah, we'll figure out where we have to strike. Next time. Thank you for joining me. I have to go help with grocery. Like a good kid. Like a good child. Goodbye.